Welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream for Ustream and also recorded for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. A quick slurp of coffee. And I'm still in this, I've zoomed into the Johanna Basford Magical Jungle. And I'm still using these Cotman watercolours from this palette. And I've sprayed it with water, quite a lot of water now, because I want this to go, I want to be finished with this. But these lovely pale colours are going to be really nice in this book. But I've sprayed it with water, and then wherever the paint's dried, and kind of, you can see in there's quite a lot of colour here. Oops, I'm left-handed. There's quite, if I tip that up, there's quite a lot of colour. And then gently reconstitute. Sorry, I'm left-handed, so I'm scrubbing it. In fact, I'll turn that around and then we can see that better. I can see what I'm doing there. So I'm in this one, and I'm really making every scrap of colour, reconstituting it back. So in there now is quite a nice puddle of colour, and it's not quite a wash because it's a bit thicker than a wash, but it's so again I'm going in. I've done that one and that, so I do this one again all in here. It's actually gone over to this side, but I'm not bothered about that. All of this here now, hopefully when all this is gone, it'll all be now wash the brush out. And then I'll go into this one. Now this one, it's nearly all gone, and it was a paler orange, but because I've got that little bit of from next door, that's in there, and now I've got an orange, but it's a pale orange, so I've still got quite a nice colour range. And then in here, that's all pure colour. So we need, this little flat brush is quite good for that. So it's really scrubbing down the sides. And this is real tight Yorkshire Lass, but I want to show just how many pages you can get and just how much colour you waste when you pour it down the sink. And again, those are now really rich, creamy watercolours. And they're perfect for using in your colour book. And again, all this yellow in this one here, that's all pure colour. So by scrubbing it off there, and don't do this with one of your best brushes, and that was probably the wrong water to use, but again, all this here, and down up the sides, because when we made these colours a few months ago, these were nearly full of colour. This was the original colour palette we made from 3 colours, so we've had a good use out of it, but I want to show when we wash our palettes out just what goes down the drain. And as a tight Yorkshire Lass, I can't do that. But the other thing is, because you keep making these paler and paler and paler, you're actually getting some wonderful, you see all that is pure colour that's kind of stuck up there. Now, when I mix this, it's going to go to a bit of a greeny yellow, but I can live with that. But these are now beautiful pastel colours. A lot of pastel colours. So that means that you can do a couple of pages with some really bright colours. And then you can, by using these and making them, see that's pure blue colour here as well. So bit of a scrub. It's all beautiful. It takes a little bit, but not much. A little bit, and the water is only a spray, and the spray has reconstituted most of it anyway. It's made all this loose on top. So really, you're not going to use a scrap. And if you see that one at the end, that's what I used for the background. So I got every scrap out of there. I'm just sorry about the angle for a second. And there's some red up there, so when I knock that red into it, it'll go quite an unusual purpley blue. And these are all hand mixed colours from those three. So even though these are student grade, all these colours were made from these three. There's an earlier video about colour mixing with the Winsor Newton Cotman, and there's a lot of colour in it, and the pigment is very, very good, very good. So we've got that one, and if I just push this out now, got another one out. And I'll scrub into here. There isn't any water in here, but I'm going to take some of this water because there's too much in here. And I'll scrub here, and you can see by just scrubbing on the top this blue. It's on the lid as well. Don't do this with your best brushes, for goodness sake. Well, these are brand new brushes. I don't think I'll be using them. And scrub all that round there, and there's still found some more colour in there, even though that looked very clean. So, I mean, that's not going to do a lot, but it's going to be a lovely colour if I want a shadow, a grey shadow onto a blue or something. And we'll move that round. This is all now colour again. I'm just going to take a little bit of that water off, actually, because there's too much water in there. But this is now colour again. So we've got to here, so I've done that one. So this one again, scrubbing up the side there and up the back. All the dried, because I sprayed it with water. So now I've got another shade of pinky red, and there's all this here. So there's going to be some lovely coral colours, and it's all made from what was left. And again, this one up here, oops. On there because I just don't want to splash. So again, just up the side there, and again now I've got another shade of pink, and I've used all that colour up. So that's a nice colour. By the time I finish with this palette, it will be completely clear, and hopefully you can see just how much you throw away. So there's a purple in there, so again just giving that just very gently, because it's been sprayed with water, so you don't need too much. It's just to reconstitute that back into a liquid and then mix it all together. This is just a little flat brush, and this flat brush is quite good for scrubbing gently. And if you get all that off in one go, now that's really, apart from the thing I've picked up, that's quite a nice colour, that now. And that's quite a creamy colour. It's not too watered down. That should give me some nice colours. And again, there's still some colour up there. And I want rid of it this time. You know, I want to crack on and get my professional watercolours in there. But to start with, for £3 or £2.97, because they were 99p each, you know, that was a pretty good. It's a pretty good mix to colour. So I played with the £3.50 printer inks, and that gave me, I made 650 colours from that, making the scale like very similar to this. And then I added the complementary colours to take everything to greys and grayscale. So I'm going to wash the brush out because, again, in the corner here, it's actually a really bright green, but it's not coming up as a bright green. But I want to take some of this blue off here. I'm not wasting this. This is all pure colour. And that tight Yorkshire Lass says, and all down here, look, is all colour. And just gently stroking the sides with a brush is making all that dried paint loose again. And then with a bit of a mix there, we have now got a really nice turquoisey green. Oops. And get everything out of the brush as well, because there's a lot of colour in there. And there's a little bit of that blue there, but I'm going to take that off. And there's quite a big puddle up there. Again, and you'll see the colour just mixing. This only works with watercolour. Can't do it with oils or acrylics, but it works with watercolour. Now, years ago, we used to put the oils in your freezer to stop them drying out. But that was a long time ago. So that yellow now is dried. So again, there's quite a lot here. So just keep, because that looks quite watery. You'd be quite surprised at how much is up there. But I didn't think I would. I've probably got far too much paint here to do that one page. Pretty sure I'm going to get the elephant in the bottle one I showed earlier that I've used. I'll just get rid of these fluffy bits. And again, now I've got a really nice reconstituted, and all I've done is gone around the edges and got the dry paint. So I've got nearly a full palette again, but they're all slightly muted from the original. And again, this is a pink, so the magenta. This is probably one of the original ones. And you just have to give it a good mix. So now I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I've got 18 colours from what I would normally throw away. So what I originally started with was the blue, which I've got rid of, which was here. But because a bit of dark blue's gone in there, that was originally the cyan blue, which is this colour. Cerulean blue. And that was originally the lemon yellow. That one. And then over here we had Elysian Crimson, which I think was that one. And then from those we made the oranges, then we made the cad reds, and then we made some tertiary oranges and yellows, made a purple, French ultramarine, almost, it's not a brilliant French ultramarine, and that's why the purples aren't very bright. And we made some greens, and that's just from these three tubes of paint. So I'm actually going to leave that on there because I'm probably going to make a mess. And I shall put this brush back. I haven't done any damage to it. It's fine. It's fine. But because it was a little kind of a pointed edge, it really kind of scrubbed that little corner out. So that's well done. So I'm going to be working with, and I've found another one. Oh, that's a Pro Art, but it's not That's the 101, that's not a 103. And that's just an ordinary number 6 brush. But the number 6 here is a rigger. So exactly the same barrel, same amount of hairs, but these are synthetic, but obviously nearly twice as long. So and go to a nice point. Should go to a point. It's just that it's not wet yet. This goes to a point. So what will happen is you run out of go a lot with that one. This one, the colour at the end and all that dampness will keep you going. This one will release all its water straight away, and this one won't, and that's the difference. That's why I like the riggers. So I shall pop that back in its little holder, and so I'm working with a number 6, a number 5 and a number 3 Pro Art 103 set, and that's given me 3 riggers, a fine one, a medium sized and a really nice chunky one. Oh, hi Marielle, welcome to Bunny's Designs. I've zoomed into this little, oops, I'm going to have to move, we'll have to move that slightly because I'm going to get everything in a pickle in a minute. So I've got my tablespoon of water, but I don't think I need it too much. I may have to, I'm working wetter today, so I didn't really need that, that's just for extra, but because I've now constituted these into quite wet watercolours, that's given me ample colours. So again, a slightly different way of working. I'll probably get away with that one actually, I think. The only problem I have is I literally have the length of the paintbrush between me, pop that out of the way, and every time I don't clean the brush I'm just twisting on a baby white. But this baby white's going to get very wet, so you need it in a dish because it'll be dripping wet literally when we've finished. So I dunk into there and twist, and then that's given me a lovely paintbrush full of damp water. In fact, I'm actually going to take a lot of that water out of there because I'm going to just bob into this one, and I'm going to pick quite a lot of colour up. Because this paper is a little bit thicker, it can stand. Just move my water pot over there and draw all over my wrist. It can stand probably normal way of watercolouring. Well, colouring in with watercolours, not too I do like this lemony colour, but because we've got this colour, you know, we can do lots of other things with it if we want. I actually like just sticking with one colour, and that's why I like this book. It's quite nice. I've got 18 colours there. It's just like doing it with markers. You know, you pick the yellow up, that's what we're doing, flat colour. And I don't do this in any other book, so I quite enjoy myself in this book. And just stroking that colour in. I just want to move that because I'm conscious of the fact I'm crossing. That's a little bit better. So if anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps, because I can see the caps and then I can squint and read it. But I wanted to finish this because I want to put my professional watercolours in here. So these Cotman ones, they've done the job. The first colour mixing was with the inks, printer inks, because I had the idea that if a printer ink could make all those colours from 3, then why couldn't I? And we got 600 and some. And then I bought these Cotman 3 colours, very similar to the printer inks. But I've always been brought up with 6 colours, so I've gone back to my original 6 colours, a light and a dark, a warm and a cold blue, a warm and a cold yellow, and a warm and a cold red. And then that will give you every colour on the planet. And if you have Van Dyke brown, no, it's burnt sienna. Burnt sienna, raw sienna. I think it's raw sienna, the darker one. And you have add a touch of French ultramarine, you get Payne's grey. So you no need to buy Payne's grey. And that goes for oils, acrylics, or watercolours. And because you've mixed it yourself, it's going to match your other colours that you've used the brown and the blue in as well, because it's connected to it, because you've mixed it, if that makes sense. Oops. But I'll go back into all these colours when we do the colour mixing for the art in the Abbey. Yeah, but we'll get Inktober out of the way first. My daughter's played pop with me this morning because I was streaming at midnight and I thought I was streaming at 7 o'clock. Whoopsie. So I've made a boo-boo there. But again, this is a quick way of working when you're in camera, that is. Sorry, I keep forgetting I've zoomed in. Oops. But I'm working with quite a loaded brush, so again, a completely different way of working to the napkin and the Bible journaling. Oops. And again, because you're using a rigger, you could just keep going and going for a long time, so you don't have to keep going back for more colour. So it's less stress on your hands and you're not moving about all the time. Now you could drop some other colour in there if you wanted to, but I quite like, and that's a little bit lighter, so I've got like a natural watercolour effect on there. So there's some flowers here, so let's have a look at these. And then, sorry about the angle, but I just have to be a bit more comfortable, otherwise I can't. And this is sliding off. So you need to wash your brush out in a big pot for this, because you've got more colour. This is proper colour, as I say. Let me have a look. Well, we've got the stem, so I could do the stem, but again, I want the little tiny one for that. Get rid of the ruler. Don't need the ruler. And we've got 3 greens and the very pale green as well, so I'm not at a very good angle for this. Oh dear, I don't know what that is. I may darken that down a little bit, because although it doesn't look too bad, does it? I've just caught that one. Thank you, darling. You could just pop some boiling water in there for me, thank you. Do you need boiling, or is it cold? It'll be fine. Just top it with water, darling, it'll be fine. I'm just making that a bit darker, so I just caught it with the blue. And I don't like the fact you can see it, so. I quite like those. They're all done now, the stems. So I'm going to go back into here. And I'm going to use the medium brush for that. So I'll wash that one out. So it's quite good to have 3 brushes. You don't need a big full set. Just three of whatever you're going to use them for is probably ample. I like this colour, so I'm just going to put a bit of this in. Again, that is a little bit wet, so I can go in with this damp, smaller brush and just tease it round, and that way you're not leaving the water on the page too long, and that's what caused the bobbling. So if you do this, and I can even take a bit off there, look. And again, that's quite a nice way of working. So I can just drop some colour into here and then just tease that across. Now you could just go straight across all the colours, but if you do it this way, you will get a natural watercolour effect. Thank you, darling. You'll get a natural watercolour effect because it will get paler and paler. And you're not doing any blending or anything, you're just taking the colour into here. But the water's mixing with this, and then you've got this damp brush mixing it in here, so you end up with a lot paler. I'm actually at the wrong angle, but it's fine. And then if we just stroke colour into this one. Sorry, this is going to drive me insane. The cat's in. So there might be a bark alert in a minute. So that's very, very pale colours, but I quite like that. And that's given just that little bit of natural, and that's because we started with a full brush with all the colour on the end, and all that damp has come through. And it naturally... Oh, do excuse me a second. Hello?